Well, we did it. We got everything all packed up. The plants are in the trailer. We got clothes, we got food. Probably more than we're ever going to need, but we are ready to hit the road. So this is the last trip of getting everything plant-wise to the cabin, to the farm, and we're ready to go. So earlier trips we used the utility trailer, but since we need to bring this holiday trailer up with us anyway, as it turns out, it's a really good little mobile greenhouse. So we have a wide assortment of flowers that I feel like I just can't live without. And all the way back and all the way under the table is tomatoes and peppers and a few cucumbers. And this is it. This is the last trip we'll make. We'll come back and forth a few times throughout the summer, but this is it for getting plants up there. I was going to do some filming when we got here last night, but honestly by the time we unloaded everything, we were pretty darn tired. And we did a quick inventory and to see what was happening in the garden and just decided to call it a night. So here we are the next morning and it's been pouring rain. However, we planted those tomatoes last time we were here and they're doing just fine. They've survived pretty good. A lot of the marigolds got really ravaged by slugs, and part of the reason you plant the marigolds is to trap the pests away from the tomatoes and such, but still it's a little sad to see them all chewed up. Onions are still doing really, really good. Those were the ones that Brent started from seed. And the squash. This morning I pulled all the straw off the squash beds because what they've really done is grown a terrific harvest of slugs and snails. So they've left the slugs and snails have left the squash alone, but they've eaten most of the beans that tried to come up. So there's a whole bunch of little stubs of bean in here, like these guys right here, where it's just been eaten. But I'm fairly happy with the fact that we do have some zucchinis setting on, and up there we got some patty pans setting on. So in the meantime, all the straw, I'm just gonna put it between the beds and use it for pathways, walking on, and hopefully control some of the weeds. So these are the hops, and we thought they were growing like crazy when we were here last time, like 3 weeks ago, but they're just, oh, they're so funny. I'm sure that they can be quite a pest and quite a problem, but right now they're just funny.
Eating my flag.
They're eating the flag. So up here we had planted some cucumbers and 2 of the plants just vanished, no trace. But the others seem to be doing really good. And then the ones in the pots are ones that we just brought from home. So next job is going to be to pop those in the ground. Come back. Those tomatoes are still doing really well, growing and flowering. So we'll see. And then there's a whole bunch more that are still in pots and ones that are actually in the ground. So we will get the rest of the cucumbers in. And I think in total I counted 19 cucumber plants. So we'll see how they do. But there's the cucumber bed. So these two beds up here, we put logs down and we put some straw and lots of topsoil, but we didn't do hugelkulturs like we did with the squash. So these are just raised beds. And this one over here is going to have our peppers, hot spicy peppers. I think there's a few not
bells.
There's some bell peppers, but primarily hot spicy peppers. Once I get them in, I'll go through and tell you the varieties that are in there. Lots of them are trying to put on peppers already, so they were so ready to get out of the city and get planted out here. And then over here we've got tomatoes. I think these guys here peppers?
Those are peppers, yeah.
So there's a few peppers in there as well. And actually, I think there's a few volunteer tomatoes in the peppers, and there's some volunteer. There's a tomato who's decided to make friends with a pepper plant. And there's another one. I mean, look at them. Volunteers are so fun.
They each have flowers too, so they're ready.
They're racing to see who can fruit first. But anyway, so there's tomatoes and tomatoes. And these tomatoes are so cool because they look completely different than any of the other leaf types. What are they called again? You just told me.
Vintage wine.
Vintage wine. We've never grown them before. So they're a vining, large fruiting tomato. So something new. And another tray of tomatoes. And another tray of tomatoes. So guess what we're gonna do today?
Patch the trailer.
No, plant tomatoes and plant peppers.
I'll watch.
Down here, potatoes. Oh my gosh, I hope there's actually potatoes underneath there because like those plants are just huge. The one variety is all flowering. I think that means they're getting close to being done. But they survived the flea beetles. And this is like the biggest, chunkiest crop of potatoes I think we've had in a long time. So hopefully that means actually a good harvest underneath. Behind them is a bunch of grape plants that are definitely needing to be cleaned up. Like it's already even in here to tell the difference between them and the weeds. So lots of weeding, lots of pruning. And then up here is my onions. And I tried this year something different with them too. And I watched, I think it was Little Mountain Ranch who said to go through about halfway through the season and cut the tops. And then let them keep growing. And the more they put out these stems, the more kind of layers and size of the actual bulbs will increase. So I did it with some of them. I didn't do it with others. So it's a bit of an experiment. We'll see how it works for here. But, and then my garlic. I don't know why garlic always makes me so happy. But we got scapes, man. If you like scapes, this is a hefty crop of them. They're just like festive and crazy with their little curly cues. And they do taste yummy too. But the weird stuff is like the beans. There was 4 rows of beans down there. The front 2 rows, gone. Back row, middle row, or 3rd row is just like eaten on either end, and the bottom row is actually doing fine. So this has always been our problematic bed. I guess it's just an ongoing mystery to figure out why. But anyway, there we are. Lots of work to do. Catch you on the next one.